What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back with the Mariners post game recap. Probably a little bit of a shorter post game recap tonight. I've had a long day and I got to be up at like 3:30 tomorrow, so I got to be up in like 5 hours here. But it is what it is. We'll bring you the post game recap every night, no matter what. Before I get started, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm 23 subs away from 2,300. Thank you to everybody that has subbed and continues to watch the show. I appreciate it. And I hope you guys enjoy these post-game recaps. Win, lose, as much as I enjoy doing them. I enjoy doing them more on wins, but we got to talk about every game, right? Mariners fall tonight to the Dodgers 6-3. They lose the opening game of this series with 2 games left to play over the weekend. I feel like I've used this term so much and I'm wearing it out, but in a vacuum, this loss didn't bother me that much. Certainly didn't hurt me as much as the ones against Tampa, Cincy. Not that Tampa's not a really good team, but those were games right there that they had that they just did stupid things to let slip away. Cincy, they blew the big lead against them and all of that. I thought, like I said, last time I'm going to say in a vacuum, I promise. But I can't say it again. In the context of this one game, they played pretty well, I thought, against a really, really good Dodgers team, a Dodgers team that could go to the World Series if it maybe weren't for the Atlanta Braves. And I thought the Mariners played them about even tonight. A couple knocks got in there for the Dodgers that the Mariners just couldn't get, and it led to a loss. Now, before you start jumping on me about excusing a loss, that's not what I'm doing. It's still extremely frustrating because this team has 15 games to go. They're a game and a half back in the West, and they've got a half game lead on a playoff spot right now. So they are holding on by the thinnest of margins. If they were 5 up in the division or 5 up on a playoff spot, I'd probably throw this one away pretty quickly and tell you all to get over it and move on to tomorrow. But here's the problem. Like I said, you have a small margin to work with, and I just don't have a ton of faith tomorrow. Bryce Miller, to me, has not looked super sharp his last few times out. Clayton Kershaw is on the mound for the Dodgers. I just don't have a lot of faith in Bryce Miller getting through this Dodgers lineup tomorrow. This was one of the games in the series that I thought you never want to say like, oh, you had a great chance to beat the Dodgers, but I felt like with Kirby on the mound and Bobby Miller's been really good too. But I thought this was a game that they had a good chance to maybe do something with here. And if you can win the first game of this series, it takes a little bit of that pressure off the next 2 nights. All of a sudden, tomorrow, you win tonight, you go in tomorrow going, this, maybe a little bit gravy here tonight if we can find a way to win this. Now you feel a little pressure. If Toronto goes out and beats Boston in the morning, you'd fall out of a playoff spot with a loss. And that may happen. You may go back and forth a few times in this race down the stretch, but really thought, and the way the game went, they had a chance to win this one. So let's dive into it. So grand scheme of it, do I think this game was the worst performance by the Mariners this year? No, I actually thought they battled. They kept fighting back, got runners on. I thought they missed a couple cookie pitches they could have done some stuff with. I'll talk about a couple of those. And they certainly missed opportunities. I'm not going to sit here and say they played amazing, but I do think the effort and everything was there tonight. It's just unfortunate that it couldn't result in a win. And they're not in a position where we can give them thumbs up for effort. I would have loved it if we could have played the Dodgers in April and that Rocky series would have been in September. That would have been nice. Let's start with the pitching side of it. George Kirby, 6 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 4 and 2 walks, 7 Ks. Listen, the 2-run home run he gave up to Rojas, I have no idea how Rojas turned that around. That's one of those ones where you just go, maybe it's not our night. Because it was 96 up and even a little in. And a guy that now has 4 home runs all year turned on it and hit it out. I don't know how that happened. It's a shame. And then the 6th inning got away from him a little bit. He had Will Smith 0-2. I swear Will Smith swung at that 0-2 pitch. Guys, go watch that again. It looks like he goes around. He got hit on it, but I swear he went around on it on that. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but I thought for sure Will Smith swung at that pitch. But anyways, you shouldn't be hitting guys 0-2. And then Muncy gets a triple, hard hit. Teo bobbles it out there. And then JD Martinez, who has been a Mariner killer his whole career, gets an RBI single against Kirby. I don't think Kirby was bad tonight at all. 2 walks, 7 Ks. I know in the first inning he walked a couple guys and didn't look great. He also walked Mookie Betts, who might be the best player on the planet and probably the NL MVP. And he walked, I think it was Muncy on a couple pitches that I thought were borderline close he could have gotten. Not the end of the world there. I didn't think Kirby pitched that badly. The problem is, again, like in this game in particular, no, I thought Kirby was okay. But this is now against Tampa, against the Dodgers, against the White Sox, against the Royals, where he has not been extremely sharp, where he's given, I shouldn't say extremely sharp, but he's given up 3-4 runs in these starts, and he isn't pitching shutout baseball. I know you can't do it every time. I know the Dodgers lineup's really good, but the way for the Mariners to beat the Dodgers, they're probably not going to outslug them necessarily. The pitching's got to be on point. If Kirby could have held it to the 2 runs in that 5th inning and not had the 0-2 hit by pitch and everything in the 6th, maybe the Mariners win this game or find a way to. It's just you can't give up those extra runs. And I know, like I said, this Dodgers lineup's amazing. This is now 3, 4, 5 starts in a row for Kirby where he's given up multiple runs ever since that Baltimore game where he was lights out. And I don't think he's been bad or anything like that necessarily. It's just been like just short of having really good starts. It's been more, yeah, he was all right. Did he do enough to probably win this game tonight? Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a bad outing by any means, but I want great outings. Like we have 15 games left. If you want to make the playoffs, you've got to be great. And these are the type of teams you're going to see. If you are fortunate enough to get in the playoffs, it's going to be the Dodgers. And you can't just say, yeah, Kirby was okay. You've got to go out there and sometimes you got to go 6 innings, 1, 2 earned runs, 7 shutout innings, whatever it may be. We're at the stretch run now. Like, you know, like I said, just like this game, a microcosm kind of this game is, you know, if it were in April, tip your cap. I can't do that in September. We're running out of time to tip caps. Topa had his best inning I think I've seen in a while in the 7th inning. Spire came on in the 8th, and he walked or hit Freddie Freeman, or he walked him. I think he hit him. And then Freeman stole and then got to 3rd on a throwing error. Spire strikes out the next 2 batters, and Matt Brash picked a heck of a time for the BABIP gods to get him again. Comes in to face JD Martinez, gets him into 2-strike count, throws a slider off the plate, and Martinez pokes it into right field. The only sin there for Brash is that maybe with a pull hitter up and your infield, you can't shift, you know, as much, but still turned a little bit to the third base side. You gave him a pitch that he can poke into right field. Maybe you try and pound him in there a little bit with that pitch. But again, Brash threw a pitch 2 feet off the plate and JD Martinez stuck his bat on it. Not much you can do there. Avoid the hit by pitches, guys. You know, that's the problem. Hitting Will Smith 0-2. I don't remember what the count was on Freddie Freeman. Don't give away free passes. The Dodgers are good enough. The Dodgers are a good enough team. You cannot give away free bases to them with, uncompetitive free bases. If you walk them on some borderline pitches, it happens. But 2 hit by pitches that may have cost this team tonight, right? I mean, take away the Will Smith one, the Freddie Freeman one, and maybe the game's a little different. Trent Thornton pitches the 9th. Typical kind of Trent Thornton outing. Looks decent, but can't get out of an inning without giving up a long ball at some point there as Josh Outman went yard on him. So let's look at the lineup today. Mariners pounded out 11 hits, couple walks. I thought there were some good at-bats. I thought there were some really bad at-bats. Quick, I'll go through the lineup, then I'll talk about some of the bad at-bats. JP was 1 for 5. Julio 2 for 5 continues to just, Julio is your saving grace, it seems like every night, although he almost grounded a double play to end it. Still a 2-hit night for Julio. Cal was 1 for 4 with a walk. Teo was 1 for 5 with an RBI single. Gino 1 for 4 with the home run. Good to see the power. Jared Kelenic, a nice game, 2 for 3, and he worked a walk. So Kelenic on board 3 times. Really good to see. Ty 1 for 3 with a hit by pitch. Reached base twice. I love to see Ty at some point remember to hit a ball out of the park. But the way Ty's been scuffling, I'm not going to complain that he reached base twice. Canzone was 0 for 2. He's scuffling. He is really scuffling. Dylan Moore was 0 for 1. I'll talk about Dylan Moore. Mike Ford 0 for 1. I'll talk about that. Josh Rojas 1 for 2. Sam Haggerty 1 for 2. Nice at bat by Haggerty in the ninth inning against a really good pitcher in Evan Phillips. A leadoff single for Haggerty. It turned the lineup back over. You can't ask for much more than that from Sam Haggerty. Want to talk about a couple at bats here that were crucial and pretty brutal. First one is the Dylan Moore at bat. Or actually, let's talk about the sixth inning a little bit. So the Mariners are down 4-1 going into the bottom of the sixth. I think Julio led off with a single. Cal walks. You've got first and second, nobody out, I want to say. Am I right on that? And then Teoscar Hernandez gets a line drive base hit to put runners at the corners with nobody out. Gino comes up, first pitch, a pitcher's pitch, grounds into a double play, run scores, but 2 quick outs. That's a rough at bat for Gino. Now, listen, in real time, I'm going, hey, at least we got the run in because we've seen this team struggle there sometimes. But taking a step back from it, pretty brutal at bat there. To swing at the first pitch from, was it still? Yeah, it was still Miller at the time, which was, I believe it was like a slider in on him a little bit. And the pressure's on the pitcher at that point. It just one you probably need to take. Because the next at bat, Jared Kelenic lines a single. And then I forgot what Ty France did. Was that when Ty was hit by a pitch? You know what? I got to go, but sorry, guys. I got to look at it. I want to make sure I get it right because there are some things I want to talk about with it, so I don't want to get anything wrong. No, Ty had his base hit. So, and listen, had Gino had a better at bat and just not double played, just struck out or just flew out, there's no guarantee that Kelenic gets a hit and Ty gets a hit. The Dodgers might pitch it differently. So I'm not doing that because I hate when people do that and they change an outcome and then they expect the rest of the game to stay the same. That's not how sports works. The Dodgers may have pitched those guys completely differently. However, as I say, I'm not going to do that. I'm literally just going to do what I said not to do. Kelenic gets the base hit, Ty gets the base hit. You never know what could have happened. So frustrating there. And then Dylan Moore comes up with runners at first and third. There was a wild pitch. Ty moves to second. Man, you feel like you get a base hit there, you probably win that game. And Dylan just doesn't even swing at a pitch. 5 pitches. They were good pitches. It was Crawford. Was that the pitcher? Ferguson. I don't know why Crawford in my mind. Ferguson threw good. They were good sliders. They were bottom of the zone. Very tough pitches to hit. Probably not much you can do with it. But man, you've got to get the bat off your shoulders there. I mean, you have to. He was caught staring at strike 1, strike 2, couple balls outside, and then strike 3. And Dylan argued it, but it was a clear as day strike. I'm not saying pinch hitters. I don't like the adage. Oh, you're pinch hitting, not pinch walking. Go get a hit. No, like he's up there to reach base and try to get on. But man, you've got to get that bat off your shoulders. That was probably the most crucial at bat right there. You get a base hit there, go up 5-4. You get all that momentum back. Turn it over to the bullpen, and you might get that W tonight. You might have found a way. So tough at bat there. Mike Ford had a pinch hit at bat in the 8th as what would have been the go-ahead run. Oh, Ford got a bit of a hanger on the first pitch and just swung through it. And the next pitch he lined foul. Like some healthy rips from Mike Ford, but then he was caught looking on a ridiculously good cutter from Brasier, who, man, the Dodgers just a factory of turning pitchers around. He was a mid-reliever with the Red Sox, and now he's on the Dodgers and lights out. It's just amazing how the Dodgers do that. Tough at-bat there. And then the 9th inning, Teo came up as the tying run, and the first pitch from Phillips was a bit of a hanging breaking ball that he missed. Gratterall came on in the 7th, I think. Or was it the 6th? I think it was the 7th with Cal Raleigh up as I think the tying or go-ahead run. Gratterall, one of the best ground ball pitchers in the game, left one up that Cal just missed. So as much as I don't think the Mariners played terrible tonight, they did have some missed opportunities to put up some more runs, to do some damage today. So in that sense, frustrating because I do think they had a chance to win this ball game. It wasn't as, when I say not as angry as those other games, it wasn't as heartbreaking to be. And I think that's what it comes down to. It wasn't like they blew a 4-run lead, but now you got to go tomorrow with Bryce Miller. Like I said, I've not been past impressed with his past few starts, and going against the lineup with Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Muncy, Martinez, Hayward, Chris Taylor's defensive replacement with a 763 OPS, Outman, I mean, and apparently Rojas now too can kill you. Um, he's going to really have to battle tomorrow. Really going to have to battle. And the Mariners, without Tom Murphy, their lineup against lefties not as strong either. So they got to find a way against Clayton Kershaw. Fortunate that Houston and Texas lost. They're not exactly, I know Texas had won 5 in a row coming in tonight, but they're not exactly all killing it either. But Toronto wins. So we'll see. Hopefully Toronto can maybe lose in the morning and take a little bit of the weight off of you to some extent. But, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, not the worst loss of the year, but there's 15 left. Listen, I'm going to go back to something I've said for a while. They're all going to stink the rest of the way. All the losses stink. All of them are going to feel like their season-ending losses. I thought with Kirby on the mound, they had a chance to win tonight. I definitely did. But hopefully they can bounce back tomorrow. It's all we can hope for. It's all we can do is hope that they find a way to kind of maybe steal one tomorrow. And then you got Logan going on Sunday, a chance to win the series. And then you go to Oakland. Maybe you can get your footing there and win a few games and get that lead stretched back out a little bit. So we'll see what happens. I'll be here for the post game tomorrow. Hope everybody has a great Friday night. Enjoy your weekend. My NFL picks will be up tomorrow. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Think about becoming a channel member. And I will see you guys all tomorrow for the post game recap. Have a great night, everybody. Go Mariners. Peace.